All right, welcome back to Rise and Shine. This is Ability Connection Colorado's regular promo meeting and really a podcast where we share the people that we work with, the people that we support, the people that support us. And today I'm talking to Robin Cramer. And is it right to say family support specialist?
A family support specialist, family coach.
Family coach. And explain. So you are working within Creative Options,
Yes.
the Early Childhood Center. And
Yes.
what does a family coach do?
We help support families in basically whatever they need. If they need help with transportation, finding childcare, anything that is important to them, we help support them in.
And one thing I want to bring up too is the adult mental health first aid. And I think
Yes.
you just went through that training.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to get to that because I think that's so important. We talked to
Absolutely.
Lisa, and we all feel it. We all know that finally mental health is getting its due. For generations, we've been able to talk about whatever's going wrong or right with us physically, but mental health had this stigma. So it's so nice that there's this way to discuss it in a very constructive way. So that's something I wanted to bring up. But I want to talk about, you helping out these families. Now, this almost sounds like a luxury for an early childhood education center to have something like this. Or is this normal?
Absolutely. I have worked in childcare for 20 years, and no center that I've worked at has had resources for families like we do here at Creative Options. And I think the services that we provide families is so important to build them up for success after they leave us.
Yeah, so that is the idea that it encourages families to get their kids to these incredible opportunities for early childhood education.
Yes. Like I said, we set the families up for success. While we help them, we don't tell them exactly what to do. We give them the resources, and if they choose to use them, fantastic. But if it's not for them, it's not for them. And
When
then
you
we
say
choose something else.
when you say resources, what does that include?
We provide resources all the time. Around the holidays, we provide resources for Thanksgiving on ways that they can get food baskets, the way that they can get gifts for their children, food pantries, just all kinds of things, all kinds of resources. We get throughout the school year, we also get resources on parent workshops that are happening. Creative Options also offers parent workshops for family social and emotional workshops. So we send them that. We send them all kinds of resources on anything that they might need. And you never know what resource is going to fit for a family.
It seems that the growing mountain of evidence. Our CEO Judy Ham is a big fan of 0 to 3, which is an organization that advocates for. And this seems like it should be a no-brainer, advocates for babies and that 0 to 3 education. But the investment in that, the mountain of evidence says is a good idea.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think the 0 to 3 is so important. Sometimes I feel like it gets overlooked, but I feel like setting that foundation is critical in the 3 to 5 school that we provide for our Head Start. But that 0 to 3, and it really helps families build up their success.
And here's the thing: when you say Judy Ham's name, she appears. I don't have you on camera, Judy, but I was just talking to Robin about 0 to 3 and the importance of those years to get children interested in education. And I don't know. Well, give it a second there. That would have been an amazing segue, Judy, but we got some technical difficulties. I'm going to leave you there. I'm going to leave the Judy Ham square there, or rectangle. and we'll just keep going. So, my guess is this: is that she was like, "I'm going to join the podcast," and then somebody walked in her office, and she's handling that situation. I don't know if you've ever been on a meeting with Judy Ham, but she'll be talking to you, and she has like an old analog phone here, and then her cell phone here, while she's in this like multiple brains emanating outward,
I
things that
couldn't
people
do
need.
it.
Yeah, I don't. I look. It gives me a headache thinking about it. So I'm glad I have I have this single track here, and that is to share stories of Ability Connection Colorado. And that, speaking of the stories, like that's what I love to ask people in your position. What is that? Give me an instance where you're like, Robin, girl, you did it again. Like this is why we do this. This is why I do this. That really had you. Maybe it's a family or it's a child where you're seeing that the results are clear, and what you're doing is fantastic.
Yes, thank you. And I absolutely love my job. Side story, we provide, or we did, we provide diapers for our families who need them. And I went to the Dollar Tree to get masking tape to put on the bags for the diapers, and I didn't know where to find it. And I asked the clerk where the masking tape was, and she showed me. And she said, "Well, what are you going to use the masking tape for?" And I said, "Well, I'm a family coach and we provide diapers for our families." And we got to talking, and I said, "I love my job." And she said, "Yeah," she said, "I can tell." I absolutely love helping support these families and their children and seeing them be successful.
It is hard being a parent. It's so expensive being a parent, as you and I discussed with daycare. And when we found resources, we certainly took them. And I think that's incredible that there's this opportunity to
Yes.
give. That's the thing, is parents want the best for their kids, but in doing that, they have to do a lot of things that and educating maybe their 2-year old isn't top of their mind. They're thinking that's going to be when they're 5. That's when they go to school. Talk about getting kids school ready and maybe what you've seen there, or the role you play.
In the role that we play, we coordinate with the teachers, we collaborate with them to get, and this is from 0 to 5. This is for our school. The teachers work with the children on a certain skill, and we share that with the parents as a school readiness goal. And we ask the parents, is that something you are willing to work with the children at home? And if the parents say, yeah, that's something I want to work with them at home on, we help provide resources for our preschoolers and our K-bounders. They're one of the most popular skills is writing their names. So we'll provide packets that we send home with the families to help their children write their name. For our 0 to 3, for the babies, it could be crawling, learning to walk. For the toddlers, it's that language. It's the expressive language that we work with them, that we give the parents resources on tips that they can use at home to help the children gain their expressive language. So it just depends on what individual skill the teachers as well as the parents are working on.
And you're giving those parents that little nudge so they know this specific thing to focus on.
Yes. And
Yeah.
sometimes the parents are say, "Oh, well, I'm working on with them at home on that as well." So,
And that's so
but
reinforcing.
again, it's what the parents want. Sometimes the parents come back and say, "Well, I feel like they know that, so let's work on this." So that's something that we can help support the parents in and give them resources for the skill that they choose.
No, that is fantastic that you have a child and it's important to educate them. You also have to make a living. You also have to clean the house. You also have to fix the bathtub, whatever. So what I'm imagining is it's so helpful to get that little bit of guidance on what. I mean, I've had kids for years now, and I still ask their teachers, "What can I do at home? What's that thing that I could do to help my kids do better and help your classroom function better?"
Absolutely. And I say over and over again that I wish I would have had this experience when my son was young, or even before I had my son, because it would have helped me be a much better parent, because I would have got the resources and I would have known how to better help him and how to help him prepare for school better than I did. And I was a teacher. And I think even as teachers, sometimes we need that guidance, that support. So,
What is
like
it?
I said, I wish I would have had this experience before.
What is a thing that a parent could do if they don't have the guidance from creative options and they don't have your support? What are those things? Is there like a top 3, a top 5? Is there a Robin Cramer endorsed list of things like, you know what, you have this kid that's could be in early childhood education. Maybe they're not, or maybe they are, but what's that thing that parents can do with their kids or should be doing?
I think the biggest thing, and I'm a big advocate of, and I'm a big believer in literacy. I think the biggest thing is reading to children, getting them that even babies need that exposure to books, pointing to things, giving them that language. And that's to me, that's the biggest thing, as well as talking to children and giving them that language, and so that way they have that going in. And I think in our school, speak a lot of our parents speak 2 languages, and I think sometimes the children feel like English is the language they should be speaking, and I think the parents, need to speak both languages, so that way the children are exposed to their home language as well as English, and I think being bilingual is very beneficial to children.
No, that's good. That I hear that so many places. So no, that's very good advice. I talked to this teacher. Her name is Jamie, and she has 2 kids that are under 5. Probably she's a teacher at Creative Options, and all of a sudden the waterworks turned on because she started talking about being able to reach an autistic child and not believing in the beginning that she had the ability to do it. And then a couple months into the school year, getting the name, getting some vocabulary and some writing, and just helping this child along feel included and seeing the growth. And she
Yes.
was, I had to go get some tissues for both of us actually at the time because it was really great to hear.
Yes. And yes, the I think that's another thing that, and I've worked in various schools, and even I worked at a charter school in Ohio, and we did not have the support that we have here at Creative Options for special needs children, and the trainings that happen, and I'm just amazed at how much support there is for teachers, for parents, for children and families of with special needs. It's amazing.
And that's something I hear a lot too, the importance of support for teachers from staff like you and others that can help them motivate the children and come in with new ideas, come in and help implement curriculum. How are you able to work with teachers in situations like that?
We work with, as a family coach, we provide, we ask the teachers what they feel like the child needs support in. And then we mention that to the parents, and we send resources to help them. We do collaborate with the teachers, and we do, the family coaches, we have for the 0 to 3, we have ITSS, which we get together with the teachers and our early intervention specialists, and we come up with strategies to help. And I also help with take that back to the parents. What strategies the teachers are using in the classroom, so that way the parents can use those strategies at home. And then for our 3 to 5 year olds, we have MTSS, and MTSS, we do the same thing. It's just for the older kids, and that involves members of our DST team, our supervisors, our school readiness coaches. They help with that too. And we come up with strategies. It's like a team effort of, okay, what strategies work best for this child and how can we help them be successful?
I know that's a true global approach, right? Because the kid's getting help at school, the people helping the kid are getting help helping the kid, and then when they go home, the parents have help to help the kid even further.
Right. And I think the parents are because the teachers reach out to the parents on a weekly basis and they tell them what they're doing, but then the parents are very grateful for the resources that we provide, because then they can do the same thing at home that the teachers are doing in the classroom.
And know they're doing the right thing the right way.
Right, exactly. And the parents are very appreciative of that
I can't tell
because
you how
they
many times
want to do what the teachers are doing.
yeah, I can't tell you how many times I think I've contrived some brilliant way to educate the kids, and in the back of my mind, I'm like, "Wait, is this wrong? Like, am I steering them astray?" I wanna call the teacher, like, at 8 o'clock at night, like, just to get some guidance.
Right. Right. So that helps them. That helps the parents with the resources, and like the little cards we send home, the names, everything helps them, and they're
Now
very grateful for that.
oh, okay, so now about adult mental health first aid. Uh, this is something you're using to help the kids.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because if we can help support the families, the parents in, if they're having a mental health crisis or a substance abuse case, we can help support them, which helps them become better parents or helps them be better parents for their children.
Yeah, so you are able to, using this adult mental health first aid, have parents been open to you helping?
I think so. I think so. I think it helping parents in that situation comes down to the relationships that we have with them. And I think building that relationship in the beginning is so important, because then they trust us to come to us and say, "Hey," or open up and say, when we say, "What happened? What happened to you, or what happened to your family?" They're willing to tell us their story, but we don't want to force them to tell their story.
And you have learned, I guess what was a takeaway? And you said that, I guess, in so many words there, but what are the takeaways from adult mental health first aid?
Um,
There are a lot, aren't
the
there?
biggest thing, um, the biggest takeaway that I had from this was the strategies that we can use to help families. And I wish I would have had these strategies to help my brother, who ended up dying of suicide 25 years ago. I wish I would have had this training, because if I would have, it would have helped him,
What
or I could have helped him.
what do you see? I mean, and there's some I'm sorry about that. What do you see? What parallels? I mean, I know a lot of people in your situation, myself included, that wish they had those tools. So what are those tools you wish you would have had specifically?
The algae that was presented, the tips, the listening. I really wish I would have had that. The providing, one of it is encouraging professional help. I wish I would have had that. Um, just giving my brother information on substance abuse, and just people that he could talk to.
Are you You've got me emotional too, Robin, and I'm so sorry about this.
That's
Well,
it's okay.
no,
It's
I'm glad you brought it up, because I would like to ask, like, what legacy of your brothers do you carry with you?
I carry a lot of things about him with me. He was smarter. I tell people he was smarter than me. He was funny, or he was 5 years older than me. So I carry his sense of humor. His He was athletic where I'm not. Um, he To me, he was smarter than I am. Just a lot of things about him I carry with me, and but I think his biggest thing that I carry with me is his sense of humor. And sometimes I think about things that he says, and it makes me laugh.
Yeah. So he's still there.
Yeah,
That's good.
for sure.
So
Yes.
and now and now you have this opportunity to help others in that situation. This must have been such a great, revelation for you to be able to come across this training and that there's other people in similar situations that wanna help.
Yes, and that I can help them, and that's the thing that I think now, because it's been a while, now I can say, "Okay, how can I help other people?" While I grieve for my brother every day, it's, "Okay, how can I help people to not be in that same situation?"
You can sit with somebody and say, "I've seen how this can end, and we have options,
Yes.
a lot of them."
Yes. Yes. Yes,
Wow, Robin,
and
thanks for sharing that. That's gotta be hard.
yeah, but like I said, it's good for me to be able to help people who might be in that same situation,
Yeah.
to avoid the outcome that my brother did.
Well, I think it's incredible work. When I was first started interviewing teachers there, it was because we were going to hire teachers, and so I was getting the stories of teachers, and there was just such enthusiasm about the energy and the investment that's gone into making this holistic approach to educating a child and including the family. Which the fact that that hasn't been part of the plan in some cases is kind of ridiculous because you want everybody there as using the village metaphor, but you want everybody there, and here you are helping make that happen.
Yes, and I'm very grateful for that. I'm grateful that I can be part of this process with the teachers and with the parents and with the other staff that we have here at Creative Options. I'm very grateful that I get to be part of that process.
Well, I am grateful that you're there, and I think it's so funny. Our CEO is apparently permanently distracted, at least for the length of this show, as she is there with us, kind of. So, but this is what she wanted to talk about: is that adult mental health first aid, and I think you were trained by Lisa Heberlin,
Yes. Yeah.
and we brought her on the first episode of this to talk about that, and then she emailed me and said, "Here's someone you need to talk to," and it was Patricia Montañez and Robin Cramer, uh, to learn more. And we just can't get enough insight on what it takes to move a kid, uh, and be ready, school ready, and inspired, and seeing the benefits of learning so they can take that with them the
Yeah.
rest of their life.
And I think that's something that our teachers do well, is they help prepare these children. And while we work with the parents, the teachers work with the children, and together we do the same thing. An employee, Sophia, told me one time, she said, "Here we we do the same thing." She said, "It might be for different people, but we do the same thing." And that is so true. Here no matter what our role is, we are helping people. We're helping people, whether it's children, whether it's families, and it's children with disabilities, without disabilities. We're all helping people.
Here's this little anecdote I was going to share with you because I think your response is going to be pretty awesome. So one time I was at a party and it was like there was like kids jumping around and stuff, and I'm standing next to a parent and I ask her just that common icebreaker. I was like, "So what do you do?" And she was nice, but bristled a little bit at the question. She's like, "Yeah, why is that the opening question we always ask people? Like, what do you do?" Like, I don't want to really think about my work. And we got into some friendly banter about that. But I have a feeling you're someone. If I ask you and I at a party, what do you do? You are stoked to tell me.
Oh, I am. I am very proud to say that I work for Ability Connection Colorado and I work for Creative Options. I'm very proud of that. And like I said, I've worked at a lot of schools, daycare centers. Like I said, I worked at the charter school in Ohio. And it was kind of like, oh, yeah, I work at Goddard. I teach preschool, and that was it. But you're right. If you were to approach me at a party and say, what do you do? I'd be like, well, I'm a family coach at Creative Options. And I always tell people it's a little company with Ability Connection Colorado, and this is what I do. And like I said in the beginning, I went to Dollar Tree and I was talking to the lady, and I was very proud to tell her what I do.
Yeah, that's great. That no, that I good. I was when I thought of that, I was like, oh my gosh, this is the perfect person to ask this. What do you do? So if you're at a party with Robin Cramer, yeah, don't have to worry about an icebreaker because she's waiting to tell you about the benefits of being a family coach at Ability Connection Colorado because it helps us all.
I truly love my job. I love it.